Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to today's episode of Gamepoke. This is basically what it says on the tin. We're going to go over the consoles that I have set up, the consoles I actually play. It's just that really. I thought it would be interesting to go over them because I've covered this before in my game collection part 1 video I believe. But because I had to cover the whole collection, of course I couldn't focus on that stuff very detailed like. I had to zoom through it. I thought it would be more fun to go for it properly today, and of course it's updated, things have changed, consoles have moved, consoles have changed, shit's changed basically. So without further ado, let's fucking get on with it. So here's the stuff I want to show you basically. I have 2 tellies that you see there that I actually use for playing games, and I got the one over there, which I've covered in recent videos, so I suppose I'll just cover it quickly here. And we will go over these consoles and why the fuck these are the ones I have plugged in. So this is what I call TV1. Yes, it's a fantastic name, I know. Basically, this is what I play all modern consoles on. And in front of the telly, what we have here is my SNES Classic, and this is not a Mega Drive Classic, it's a USB splitter. The reason why I don't have my Mega Drive Mini down here is it's convenient for me to have upstairs. If, you know, I get up early one day and I can't be fucked to get out of bed, I can play the Mini Mega Drive. That's basically the point behind that. And I've got my little Sonic figures here. I forget the name of them. What is it? Totaku, I think? If you're wondering what this is, funny little story behind this. As you can see, I will make the picture zoom into that a little bit better, maybe. Or not, because it doesn't want to. Fuck you, camera. God, I'm professional. Yes, this little skull ring, made out of titanium. My wife gave me that. This is my engagement ring. So before we got married, she gave me this. Of course, I got married, now I have your box standard one, but this is what I wore before. And I just dug it out recently because I like wearing it on my little finger now. Only reason I took it off is because it's a bit dangerous wearing a ring like that in a building site, which is the sort of place I work. I once knew a guy who wore a ring like this, got it caught on a piece of scaffolding or banister when he was coming down some stairs, and he ripped the flesh off of his finger and it was just bone, blood and sinewy bits. Lovely little story for you there. Hope you enjoyed that. This beautiful beast is my TV number 2. I know you can see the reflection there of the lights I use for recording. Give a fuck. This is a Sony Trinitron. It is basically every retro gamer wants a Sony Trinitron. Doesn't have to be this exact, I don't know, serial number, brand, whatever, not brand, model number, SSDD, same shit, different day. But a Sony Trinitron is what every retro gamer wants, because they are the best for retro gaming, they just are. This one's speakers are actually cunted, but I found a way around it. Yes, I got, SCART splitters plugged into it, and the SCART splitters had an audio jack. That's why there's a speaker here and a speaker over there. So I got round the busted speaker problem. I got this telly for $5. The only shit thing about it, other than the speakers, was I had to go get it, because nobody posts these. This bitch weighs a ton. I had to reinforce the stand underneath. Seriously, I had to. This thing weighs about as much as my car. There were sparks flying when I drove home. On top of the TV too, I have 2 very fantastic but very different consoles. Here's my Nintendo Switch. I love the Switch, I really do. But I do worry about Nintendo when it comes to this, because Nintendo in recent years, you know, the Nintendo of today, they've shown a bit of a pattern, haven't they? They come out with an awesome console, an awesomely brilliant console, and then rather than try and come up with something different for the next gen, they just think, we need to carry on from what we've done before. So when they did the awesomeness that was the Wii, they thought they would just evolve on that, and they made the Wii U, which was shit. Now they've made the Switch, and that's awesome. Makes me wonder, are they going to do a Switch U next? I wouldn't fucking put it past them, but it makes me worry. It does. Maybe it's just me being silly, but it does make me worry. This fucking thing, next to it, is my Analogue Mega SG. Not a catchy name. This is basically the ultimate console if you are a Mega Drive or Master System collector. Basically, if you love playing Mega Drive games or you love playing Master System games, this is the best way to do it nowadays. Because unless you can afford all the old kit and you have the luck of finding a proper old school good quality television to play it all on, it's getting harder and harder to play retro games. It really is. This thing lets you play your retro games on modern televisions with modern equipment and all that shit and minimal lag. And for that alone, it's just worth buying. Plus this thing upgrades through firmware, so if there's ever any problems, shit can only get better. This console is fantastic. Analogue are fantastic. They're now bringing out their own little Analogue Game Boy. I forget the name of what they're calling it off the top of my head, doesn't really matter. But I'll be buying that fucker when it comes out, I'll tell you that. There's actually one more console on the stand here that's a little bit ignored because it's squeezed behind and beneath and between everything. It's a fucking Wii U. It's just sort of there, isn't it? Ignored. The sad thing is, out of all the consoles that I constantly have plugged in, when I say constantly plugged in, yes, they're all plugged in, but they don't all have power supply to them all the time. To get power, I press the switch over there. To get the right television link up, I press the switch over there. I'm always turning the console off to turn one on with either switch and whatever. Just so not everything's turned on at once, because that's stupid, isn't it? Anyway, this fucker is on the least. It's a shame, really. There's nothing really wrong with the Wii U, but at the same time, there's a lot that's not right. There's no point going into detail. It's just, I have a Wii U, and it loves dust. That's what that does. It collects dust. Yeah, pretty much. And underneath the tellies, we have some more consoles, of course, because that's what this video is about. Here I have my NES. Now, if you're a retro gamer, yeah, you love the NES. I'm not gonna lie, I'm the Sega guy, but Nintendo-wise, this is one of my favourite consoles they've done. I love it a lot more than the Super Nintendo, I'll tell you that. My one I've had, well, I haven't had, I've done it myself, I've modified it. I got, I forget the name of the fucking piece of equipment. You know the pin connector in there where you slide game in and then push down? Yeah, I've had that taken out and had a fixed one put in. Not had, I've done it, cunt. I fixed one in there. It doesn't move. So this game goes in, doesn't go down anymore. It just plays straight away. And it's so much better because the connectors don't bend. The only shit thing is when I put a game in there, it's a bit stiff to go in. Getting it out can be a real cunt at times. Some games are harder to do than others, but anyway. Above my NES I have my NES Classic there. Love the NES Classic. The only thing that sucks about it is the length of the controllers and the fact that I have to get up and press reset to go back to the menu. Big deal, really. It's not a killer. One thing I think the NES Classic has over all of the other classic consoles is the other classic consoles, you wait long enough at the main menu, it goes to a demo of a game. That's great. That is good. Does the PlayStation Classic do that, actually? You know what, I don't think it does. Fuck it. The Mega Drive one does. But this thing doesn't just have the demos of the games, it has cool animations of Nintendo characters like Mario and Luigi. It's fucking awesome. I wish there was a Sega version of that on the Mega Drive Classic. But, yeah, it's cool. Here I have... Bollocks, what are you called? Hyperkin Retron HD. See, I knew it. I didn't check the name because I forgot it. Fuck you. Retron HD Hyperkin is a great little clone console that cost me like 20-25 quid. Fuck all. I'm pretty sure I've done a video on it before. If I have, there's a link. If I haven't, then there isn't a link. It's a great clone console, especially if someone in the UK wants to play American games. This console's much more valuable if you live in the UK. If you live in America, it's not so valuable. The only pisser about the thing is that it fucks with the colours of the sprites and things sometimes. I think the biggest example is if you play like Jurassic Park on the NES, things that are supposed to be green are brown. Or the other way around. But it's a really noticeable difference in some games, not so much others. Yeah. Anyway, NES section, there's a book that no one likes as well, and a shit ton of stickers. Now, from the NES slot to over here, we have my PS4 Pro. I can't remember if I've ever told this story before, but basically I had a normal PS4 originally, and I had the original PS4 for about a year and a half. I bought it off someone that was a friend, and isn't a friend anymore. And that's because the person's a lying stoner cunt who tried to rip everyone off, including me. But before he tried to rip me off, he was desperate for money. Can you tell what he was desperate for the money for? And he sold me his original PS4 at a very, very cheap price at the time of £180. This is back when they were still going for like 300 in the shops. And he gave me a bunch of games with it. Yet he didn't sell me a controller. I said, why is there no controller? He sold the controller alone at a local CEX, that's a second-hand gamer shop for anyone in America, because I don't know if you have CEX out there. He sold it to get money to get a taxi from London to somewhere else. Stoner get woken up in London somehow. Fuck knows. Anyway, so I had a normal PS4, and then one day my mum phoned me, and she said, what do you want for Christmas? No, what do you want for your birthday, sorry. I said, well, I don't have a PS4 Pro. She said, I don't know what that is. How much do they cost? I go, no, don't, I'm only joking. I'm just fucking with you. My mum doesn't get my humour. Like, at all, usually. She said, oh, I've just looked online. The PS4 Pro isn't out yet. That's how new that was. She said, but they're out in November, which was like 2 months down the line at the time. She said, I'll get you one then. Okay. So I've had a PS4 Pro since they come out. I honestly don't think I'd ever bought a PS4 Pro because while it's a great console, I don't have a 4K TV, so that's useless. And while the memory is obviously a lot better than the original PS4, I think the PS4 Slim looks better. I really do. But this is my PS4 Pro, and it is a great console. I play it quite often. But underneath the PS4, here we have what I do a majority of videos about, especially my big Sega Head videos. This is my Master System. My Master System 1. This one's been modified. It's not HD out. I have a Mega SG up there, as you've seen before. The Mega SG, I forgot to say, is what I use for recording Master System games. I used to use this, but it's just so much easier with the Mega SG. Why use this for recording now? This has been modified to play 60 Hz as well as 50 Hz. There's a switch at the back. That's basically it. I don't use the bog standard Master System controller when I'm playing Master System because I play Master System like a lot. Alright, that's my main go-to if I want a retro. But I don't use the Master System controller all that often. I like it for when I want that hit and nostalgia, but the D-pad on the original Master System controller is arse. What I use is this. I own a lot of variations on Master System controllers. This is my favourite one. It's the Competition Pro made by Honeybee. I'm certain it was made by Honeybee, but I just wanted to confirm then. It's got 2 turbo buttons, so they're nice when I'm playing Fantasy Zone. Fantasy Zone's one of my favourite Master System games. The only pisser about Fantasy Zone is you'll kill your finger, or you'll just go meh and You know, Fantasy Zone's a great game, and it's difficult as hell without having to do this. So, whatever. But the D-pad on this thing, while this one is a little loose, when I'm playing the games, I don't feel it at all. My thumb's on there and it responds fantastically. This is a great Master System controller. If you're in the Master System, get a Honeybee Competition Pro. They don't cost a hell of a lot. They really don't. Very worth it. Master System, my favourite retro console. Hands down. In case you're wondering, PS4 is not my favourite modern console. Nor is the Switch. Neither of them are. Below the Master System, we have 2 consoles that were pretty much at war with each other, even though it was a very quick war. Let's be fair, it was a quickie. My original PS2 Fat, it died. The fucking disc tray got nuked and it killed it. I couldn't fix it. But back then I had a much more rubbish knowledge about a fixed console, so I wish I still had it, but it doesn't matter. I got this as a replacement and I've had it since. It went through a funny stage once. For like a month, it wouldn't do fuck all. And I couldn't figure out what to do. I was panicking, thinking, oh, I'm going to lose my original PS2 Slim Platinum. What a cunt. And then, it started working fine. And it has been for over 4 years, so I don't know, maybe it played a game it really didn't fucking like. That's all I can say on that one. Love the PS2, really do. Biggest thing for me wasn't the fact that, oh, it's a DVD player, although that did help. I had so many videos that going from video to DVD was more of a pain in the arse, and it was awesome, for me anyway, but it was the fact it was a PS1 as well, because I had a shit ton of PS1, I mean a shit ton of PS1 games by the time PS2 came out. So the fact that I could just upgrade rather than have to have 2 consoles plugged in was fantastic for me. Really was. And of course, here we have the thing that unfortunately got killed by PlayStation 2. It is the Sega Dreamcast. And it's also the Sega console that I am least nostalgic for. Seriously, it really is. That's because I never owned one, and I only knew one person that had one. There was one guy out there that bought a Dreamcast instead of a PS2. You know, I had a friend that bought GameCube, I had a friend that bought Xbox, hundreds and hundreds of friends it felt like that bought a PS2, but I only had one friend that bought a Dreamcast, and he only had it a little while before he traded in for one of these. It's a real shame. But I did get to see and play for a little bit Mortal Kombat Gold, Phantasy Star Online. Oh my god, seeing Phantasy Star Online back in the day, seriously, that was a game that made me look at the Dreamcast and go, holy shit, and then look back at the PS2 and go, why the fuck haven't you got this? You know? Really crazy. While I love the Dreamcast, I'm not mad about collecting for it, because of the sheer lack of nostalgia. There's just not enough there for me. I mean, I owned a Master System, first console I ever owned, so I loved it to pieces. My stepbrother had a Mega Drive, so I played that a hell of a lot as a kid, but I didn't own one. Sega Saturn I got years later, loved it. Dreamcast, never owned, never got to play a hell of a lot of, so that's why I have little nostalgia for the Dreamcast. And then over here on the bottom shelf, we have my PS3. The PS3, I still consider it a modern console, because it was only last gen. It's still fairly modern. You may hear it a little bit. It's on right now because I was watching Netflix on it. So it's just paused while I'm doing this video. This is my favourite modern console. There's a particular game on the PS3. Just so you know, this isn't the only reason why PS3 is my favourite, but it's a huge story. There's a particular game on the PS3 that I consider to be a very big turning point in my life. And I haven't told that story to anyone yet. I think I may tell it as the last video in the My Life in Gaming mini-series. By the way, I love doing that mini-series. Really wish I didn't call it that at the time, but I didn't know there was a YouTube channel that already had the name. Shit happens, really. I stuck with it, just think, fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. Anyway, PS3, I love so many game franchises on here. The mystery one, I won't tell you about. I'll save that for another day. Dead Space, I fucking love me some Dead Space. Still pissed that we never got Dead Space 4. Fuck everyone for not making that. What else? I can't think off the top of my head, I'm having a brain fart. It's just so many cool games on this thing. I love it. Blew me away first time I played it. Fucking blew me away. So gutted we never got a Legacy of Kain game on here. That was a big shit. But PS3, I love you so. Which makes me think that maybe I should dust you once in a while. Twat that I am. Over here we have the Wii, which I mainly use for GameCube games. I fucking hate motion controls. I do. It has my favourite Zelda game on it though, Twilight Princess. But the thing is, I now have Twilight Princess on the Wii U. One of the few reasons for me owning a fucking Wii U, to be honest. Great console, but whenever I pick up a Wii game and think, oh, I'll play the Wii, I always think, wait, do I have to use this thing? Do I have to? Oh no, I don't like it. But it has my favourite, this will be weird because I'm the Sega guys, you know. My favourite Super Mario game is on the Wii. Super Paper Mario Is it Super Paper Mario? Am I having a brain fart? Yeah, it's that one anyway. Picture of it there. I love that Mario game. I love that Paper Mario game. I think it's the best Paper Mario game there is. And the annoying thing is they haven't done another one like it, to my knowledge. Because that one is just, it's a platformer. I love platformers. And the other Paper Mario games are RPG, turn-based style. I love RPG games, but I think it went a bit heavy on the turn-based, and yeah, it just doesn't feel as special as Super Paper Mario on the Wii. And over here, we have my Mega Drive and Mega CD. I have no nostalgia for the Mega CD, to be completely honest with you. I didn't know anyone that had one back when we were kids. But here I use my 8-bit do controller with the horrible name that I can never remember. M30 2.4G. I mean, what a shit name. It's a great controller though. Video up there if you'd like to check out a link as to how good that controller is. I have a lot of nostalgia for the Mega Drive, although it's really weird when it comes to the models for me personally. My stepbrother, as I've mentioned, he was where I got to play the Mega Drive the most. He had a Mega Drive Model 2. So when I bought my own Mega Drive years later, I bought a Model 2, and then I found out that the Model 1 had the better sound quality and various other things about it. So I bought the Model 1. Now, I think the Model 1 is so much sexier than the Model 2. It really is. I mean, look at the fucking thing. It's just brilliant. It's such a fantastic console. Out of all consoles made, this was a real head turner. It's strange how we had so many head turners back then. We had the Atari 2600. Huge head turner when it came to video games. Then we had the NES. Now, obviously, that's a head turner because it brought video games back. And then we had this fucking thing, which kicked Nintendo in the nuts. Even if you don't like Sega, you've got to be honest and admit the fact that that's fucking true. This thing progressed gaming one more step. Atari gave it life. Nintendo gave it new life. The Mega Drive basically showed that competition is good. Because Nintendo would never have pushed themselves and advanced and done all these other things if not for the Mega Drive. And if Sega hadn't got as good as they had at that time, we probably wouldn't have had a PlayStation, because Sony wouldn't have thought, here look, Nintendo can be beaten. If Atari can be beaten, Nintendo can be beaten, Sega can be beaten, and, well, yeah, that's true, Sega was beaten, and PlayStation rose ahead. I think this is a major progressive step in video game consoles. I really do. And in terms of nostalgia for me, for the Mega Drive 1, I had friends that had it, and I got to play it a bit. But the weird thing is I can't remember who the fuck those friends were. I just remember being at random houses with a controller in my hand, and one game I remember in particular is I was playing Toe Jam and Earl, and I wanted to be Earl. And luckily the other kid let me be Earl because he said, alright, you can be the fat one. And I have been the fat one ever since. Yay. Only thing missing from this really is I don't own a 32X, and I never have and probably never will, because while I'd love to have that final thing, which isn't the final attachment for the Mega Drive, let's be honest, yeah, I'd love to have it, but the games are all kind of shitty. The only one I really want to play is Knuckles Chaotix. That's it. That's the only one I want to play. Maybe the Star Wars one, but definitely Knuckles Chaotix. Over here we have another weird one. This is my Famicom. Now, I haven't played this one in a while. Just haven't felt the need to. But I do love the Famicom. It's so awesome. The YouTuber Jew Wario. Yeah, I know there's a lot of bad shit around the Jew Wario name now, as it were, but I think his videos made quite an impact to many people. Many people. Which is weird how so many people out there feel guilty for liking his stuff after the things he's been accused of. Judge the videos for the videos. Don't judge the videos for the man. I think that's how you should do it. I'm very lucky to have a Honeybee controller for this. Obviously this is the Famicom AV, because I haven't mentioned that. I don't own an original Famicom. I would love one. The pisser is they're RF out only, and because they're Japanese, in order to be able to play it over here, I would need to play it on a modern telly, so there would be lag. This has SCART output, AV output, so I don't have to worry about RF. Works fine. basically. There's not much else to say. I love the Famicom. It's a great little bit of kit. And then up here, of course, we have my Atari 2600, which, if I'm ever in a situation where this happens a lot, for example, the other day, me and the family, we had to go out, and we're about to go. And then the wife realises, oh wait, fuck, I have not done this, I need to do this. I'm like, you're going to be another 10 bloody minutes. What can you do in 10 minutes? I'm going to sit around and get pissed off. Well, you can turn that fucker on, and you can complete 7 Atari games, because they're all short. So it's great for that, and of course, that's where this comes into it. My old black and white telly. I really love this telly. It's great for the Atari. It's just such a late 70s, early 80s sort of feel when you play the fucking thing. It's great for that. I do really love them for that. So yes, that's the third telly, the Atari Famicom. Up here, that you cannot really see, is where the gamepad for the Wii U is kept. My god, this needs cleaning. I wasn't lying when I said I haven't played the Wii U in ages. There's been nothing to play it on. I love this thing, by the way. I should say that. It's very comfy. And back over here next to TV 2 is my Sega Saturn. This little pedestal bit is it's got some more wires rigged up at the back. This is a place where I normally change consoles. Because obviously I haven't got room to plug in every console I want to play, so if I want to play something that isn't already plugged in, the Saturn comes off, the other console goes here. That's just for convenience, really. The Saturn is the second most nostalgic Sega console for me, if that makes any sense. I love the Saturn. It's awesome in every way. I wish it had more love. I really do. There's so many people out there that love Dreamcast and they love Mega Drive. Basically, so many Sega collectors out there that had the winning consoles. And I had both of Sega's failures. I had the Master System, failed, and I had the Saturn, fail. So, go me, I lose on everything, really. But I love the Sega Saturn. Usually, although I have several different consoles that go here, it's normally only the two that ever get swapped. This and the N64. Because I still own my original N64 from back in the day, so I still have the games. If I want to play Ocarina of Time, this goes on the shelf, and the N64 comes down here. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Gamepoke today about the consoles I have plugged into my actual gaming area. This is the shit I actually play. I'm not the kind of collector that just gets shit to leave on the shelf. I'm not the kind of collector that just gets shit together to, I don't know, for the sake of it. Some sort of status thing. God, my throat's dry. I need a drink. I'll have to wrap this up. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I play all of these fucking consoles, some more than others. Master System. If you don't have one, go out and buy one. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please click like, leave a comment. It's all good. And if you really want to help the channel out, please click subscribe. That really does help keep me motivated, because I suck on the motivation part. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.